Hi, everybody, and welcome to Casino Guru News live studio. Today with one and only and one of our very own, Šimon Vincze, head of sustainable and safer gambling at Casino Guru. Welcome, Šimon. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you were welcome.
Here. Exciting.
Now, we all know that you lead Casino Guru efforts that are all aimed at player protection, responsible gambling, and you also oversee projects like Casino Guru Academy, Global Self-Exclusion Initiative. But some people may not know that recently, sort of like a year ago, you joined International Problem Gambling and Gaming Certification Organization as a board member, right? And this organization, and I quote, offers voluntary international certifications that assure qualified and competent professionals working with individuals at high risk, problematic, and disordered gambling and their families and concerned others. Whew.
Tongue-breaker, right?
Yeah, that was a hard one. So that's also something you do. You're also very active at international conferences and events, and you probably are involved in plenty of others iGaming projects that I haven't mentioned. So yeah, your portfolio and quite frankly, all this introduction is quite extensive, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it is, It's like sometimes I feel like that I am always chasing new projects and that I would forget about some that I already have and some kind of like, work that can enhance it a bit more. And it's like there would be one or two projects that I focus like primarily at the time, and then I would...
And that's Academy and Global Self-Exclusion Initiative?
Currently, I think on the first place would be Academy. The initiative would be somewhere behind it because we recently ended up in a situation where we do not really know what should be the next step.
Okay.
Because we kind of depleted our options that we saw feasible, and it has turned out that it will not be very productive.
Okay.
So it's going to be Academy.
So you're taking a time from that.
Yeah, people I used to, they tell me all the time, like, timing is everything. And I guess that's one of the best ways how to think about the initiative, because it's about timing.
So you're just waiting for right time to approach it. Yeah. But it's not the end of it. We're not done with your project.
It's not.
Because from what I understand, there's a exciting new project in the works that's called Player Protection Index. Now, other than that, I don't know much about it myself, and that's why we're here to talk about it and learn a bit more about it. So yeah, let's get started with the first question. I mean, I've just listed all of these projects and things that you do. Why did you decide to, on top of everything, create this new project, this player protection project? Like, wasn't all of that before enough? I mean, I know you said that you're always looking for the next big thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, where does this need come from?
That's a really good question. And I sometimes ask that to myself. There are reasons why I have started to work on that project, and I guess we will get to that later. Yeah. But it's, where my position stands. I sometimes struggle to explain it very briefly, but I think that I can sum it up.
We have time.
And I think that I can sum it up that I am doing my best to look for the opportunities and then seize them on how Casino Guru can help to reduce gambling-related harm, somehow make online gambling a bit more sustainable from our position as an affiliate. So our position has some advantages and some disadvantages. So within this environment and this structure, this is what that's my job. And the negative part about it is that when an opportunity comes, I want to go and grab it. I want to go and seize it. So,
you don't think twice about it.
I mean, I do, but
you have to. But
it's like I do not chase everything, but what could happen is that when going after these opportunities, it could push the other projects to the, like a second or a third line, which is not necessarily bad because it would give these projects time to evolve.
Sure.
For example, the self-exclusion assistance tool, which is a thing on our website, which helps players to self-exclude from accounts they have, one after another. So if they have accounts which are not part of any nationwide self-exclusion, it's like a helping hand. And when we released it, we were like looking, okay, like we see that this could be helpful. Then we run a round of feedbacks. We realize, okay, people do not really understand it. We need to make a change. And because we did not push on that, and it's just one of the examples, because we did not push on that, I think we did less damage than we could have, right? Because now we see that some of the flaws of that process are not perfect. I mean, it could create confusion. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but to be honest, I sometimes find myself in a situation that I feel like I have too many projects and I need to prioritize.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone that knows you or works with you can attest to that you excel, being all over the place. And I mean that as a compliment, truly. I think it's a gift. But I hear what you're saying, that sometimes it can also be a curse.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the new projects like this player protection index, I feel like when you work on something new, it can also improve or create some kind of network around your previous projects, right? So it just all fits together, some kind of, okay, but back to the player protection index itself. I mean, we can sit here and talk about your other projects, but this is what's important right now. This is why we're here. My question was basically, what's the purpose of it? Like, was it to fill in the gap of player protection market? Was it to, I don't know, add another layer to the player protection, or as you said, broaden these Casino Guru efforts? So what's the main reason why you decided to? Not personally, just as business-wise.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of each.
Okay.
But maybe the most significant reason is that I think that we are doing a pretty good job with safety index and with all the function, which is part of the safety index. Basically, making casinos accounted for. Making them be responsible for what they are doing thanks to safety index. And safety index, it could be a very strong shaper of how casinos are going to treat their players, how they are going to operate in the market. And we would like to replicate that with the player protection index. And I want to say that it's a code name, right?
Okay, yeah.
And we might get into why it's a code name.
Let's go. Yeah, I want to know, because I think it's kind of it's good enough. So what are other alternatives that you're working with?
I mean, the one thing is that we would like to express with the name of what it is. So it would be understandable for the players and for the operators as well. The other thing is that we need to be cautious about how it stands next to safety index, for example, but also to other evaluations on our website. So next to safety index, we have the user feedback on it as well. And with this, we would have 3. So we kind of need to think about like, okay, what is the position of one? What is the position of the second one? Like how it all fits together. And also there is a area of like how important it is for the players, right? And how it resonates. So, for example, there are a lot of discussions about the name responsible gambling. Like,
I've heard that.
A lot of people will tell you like they don't like the name and it should change because it creates stigma and no one really likes that and it doesn't really make sense anymore. I hear that. I think that at least part of the discussion is very valid. So then, like, what is going to resonate with the players? And those are the questions which we consider with the final name. And we are we have not decided yet.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, well, so far, player protection index. But that was actually one of my questions. That if you're not worried that safety index and player protection index, we will get into their differences and similarities. But if you're not afraid of these terms being used interchangeably, so yeah, it also came to my mind when I was hearing about player protection index myself for the very first time. But you said that your goal is to basically help players with this player protection index, right? So, am I to understand that it's aimed only at players, or are you trying to reach operators, the regulators, maybe? Like, what's the ultimate goal?
So it's at least twofold. The first part would be the players. So we want to provide this information to players. We want to provide this kind of evaluation to players because, as a matter of fact, safety index does not have anything which would be directly connected with player protection or responsible gambling or safer gambling, whatever you call it.
Yeah, that's true.
So we want to make these players aware what's there and how we evaluate it. So they could put it into a, to put it into like comparison, to put it into reality, you know, because not many players do understand what the duty of care of operators means, like, or even like how they can embrace limits or what advantages they can have from reality checks, you know, things that are going to tell you how much you're spending, how much you're winning, how much time you are spending gambling.
Yeah.
So we want to provide this in a way that it will be, understandable, but perhaps the better word is like well digested from them.
Yeah.
And the second part is the operators. So it works similarly for the safety index, right? It should help players to navigate what casinos are going to treat them fairly and which are less reliable in this matter. But for the operators, it serves something as motivational for a change.
Definitely.
So the idea is that when they are going to see themselves in comparison with other operators, they might start to think about this in a different way. So we want to create this rating to be motivational. Similarly, again, with the safety index, the casinos, I mean, they tend to ask us, like, what do we need to do in order to improve it? Why it is reduced? Why our rating is better? I mean, worse than the rating of someone else? And those are the questions that we want to hear. Two sides.
Yeah, definitely. From what I've heard, it's like you're trying to bring players closer to the stuff of iGaming industry, you know, just to get them or help them understand what exactly responsible gambling is and how did you measure it with this player protection index, which is good. And it also could help them, right, to make the safer choice when picking the casinos, which is, I guess, the ultimate goal of Casino Guru itself. Yeah. So it just aligns. As far as operators go, that was my question. If do you envision with this player protection index something that's happening with safety index, and that's that we are offer this some sort of free service, you know, to casinos when we are communicate with them. Yeah. We help them understand what we mean when we say this casino is or isn't safe, or in terms of our numbers that we add to them. Yeah, so are you planning to do something similar with your player protection index? And who's going to be communicating? You know?
Yeah, I get these questions internally, right? Because
from colleagues, of course.
Because the people with whom I build it, they are the ones who may not be directly answering these questions. They might have in the past, but they are responsible for people who will be getting these questions. So it's like, okay, Shimon, don't do it in a way that we will be, overflooded.
Yeah, because it sounds like such a big, massive thing. I mean, it's not to be taken lightly. So, of course.
So it's like, it's hard to say how it's gonna work out when it's released, because the idea is that it could work. I mean, There is there is one example which kind of tells us that it could work. So we've created or released like a responsible gambling rating in the past, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Very silently.
Yeah.
At that time, we already had substantial amount of data. Let's say it was like simplified stuff. Now it's going to be more comprehensive. Simplified stuff, which has provided very simple rating, basically based on, if you have limit 1, limit 2, limit 3, self-exclusion account, whatever, it's going to give you some sort of rating. We've released it without any kind of big fuss about it. But even though, the questions started to come, like, what is this? Why is it so reduced? We need to have it higher, and so on and so on. So the idea is that it should be higher, but we do not want it to be, too high, at least at the beginning.
Okay.
So even though we want to release it for our whole database, because that's our unique value proposition, let's say, we have the database, 99% of the market. That's what our data team says. But the idea is that at the beginning, for sort of like a pilot, we will release it just for the portion of the operators, and we will see what's going to happen.
Yeah. So what kind of feedback will you receive, and you will move on from that. But would you want to provide this free service and talk more to operators about how they can improve their responsible gambling?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, it's part of our job. It's part of now people who do it, people in our data team, they are the ones who get the questions why is safety index, whatever. And then it's not like only answering the questions, but then explaining why it matters. Why is this unfair? I mean, at least what they are saying, job has become easier because kind of like the state of mind or the perspective, overall perspective, which operators had, it has changed.
Improved, right? They're more aware.
So it's not like that anymore that... it has moved, for example, from the perspective everybody should be responsible for their spendings, and if they want to spend more, it's their responsibility. So who am I to tell them they should stop, or who am I to notify them that it has been enough?
Not a babysitter.
Yeah, right. So it has moved, and some other areas as well. What I was gonna say is, like I was saying at the beginning, and it's not only my job, but it's the job of, I would say, almost everybody working for Casino Guru, to do the thing which ultimately is going to influence the market in a positive way.
Yeah.
What I will say as well, it's not a philanthropic work. Like altruistic is the word, I think, because, we are a commercial company, and we want to be perceived as a reliable partner. We want to be perceived as a company which does what it says, walking what we're talking, right? And the ways how to prove it is to do this work, which in the eyes of many companies seem like, why you do it? I mean, like what kind of revenue stream are you getting from that?
Yeah, right.
I mean, directly none. But if we are perceived as what we want to be, this is the most comprehensive database of online casinos with reliable and up-to-date information, then it is increasing our commercial success.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we also feel good because we are doing it in an ethical manner. So
I think that's a big part for everybody at Casino Guru, you especially, that you truly want to help, and you're truly coming from a position of a head of sustainable and safer expert at Casino Guru. Yeah, but also, as you said, we need to put our money where our mouth is. I think that would be really cool if it moved to this direction that, because we said that operators are more and more aware and player-centric and willing to take one step further and help those players, because they understand that, sometimes players are not the only one responsible for a problem they might be having. So just thinking of responsible tools, for example, it just one another step to the right direction. So that's awesome.
And sorry.
Yeah.
And then it could create like more reasons why they should do it. Because from what I see, it's for many companies, it's more comfortable just to remain in the status quo, which might not be necessarily perspective. I mean, like that direction might not be necessarily perspective. You know, it's like companies might be threatened, or the risk in how they do business would be like, okay, what if we are going to be disrupted? What if we will miss the innovation and someone else is gonna like get the like bigger share of the market?
Okay.
In the responsible gambling area, it doesn't really work that way. So that's why the regulation is the main driver for the changes in here, because and I can imagine it. It's like it's a thing that is kind of well enrooted in business doing, right? You do not want to do anything which would include more risks than possible benefits. And this is one of the things.
And something that would also make your job just a little bit harder, you know, because it's not the simplest solution or simplest things to achieve.
Exactly. And this could provide another reason. Okay, why should we? Okay, then we will get a better rating with Casino Guru. Okay, fine. Let's try to do it.
That's a big leverage. I mean,
hopefully.
We talked about it with Mate when I had him in this live studio about also safety index, but also the fact that more than 700 casinos changed their terms and conditions thanks to us. And that, you know, and I was asking him like, why would they do that? And it's because we have this leverage that we rank these casinos. We have a very successful website with a lot of traffic. You know, people, industry, and also players pay attention when we say something and when we introduce something new. So I guess I understand this whole idea of yours behind player protection index. Yeah.
A lot of things we learned from safety index, and I think that's what creates the baseline for this kind of thinking. And also the safety index was evolving over time, and now we are trying to launch something new with all the experience from safety rating, but without the experience from this kind of rating. So we kind of expect some things are going to happen, but what we talk about often, it's that we won't be able to launch it in a way that it would be, you know, like the 100% functional thing at the time, because the practice is going to show us, and then we will have to pivot a bit, pivot, perhaps just the iteration in order to change some things, because a lot of things will come into connection with it. But the Our Worry Safety Index, that's the baseline.
So as I understand it, it's not out yet. This is first time you're publicly talking about Player Protection Index. Is it?
I think it is. I might have left a few breadcrumbs every now and then.
But nothing like a interview.
No.
Okay. So we have dibs on that.
This is very exclusive.
It is exclusive. That's my exclusive. So sort of hard lounge, you know. This is it. This is happening. What I wanted to ask. That it's not out yet. And when are you planning for Player Protection Index to be out? And is there going to be some beta phase, as you said it?
I think that there will be. Perhaps we will not call it like a beta phase, but perhaps a pilot. I would love if we will make it until the end of the year, that we will be able to run this pilot sometime before that, to try out this kind of communication, to try out like what is the interest gonna be. So hopefully we'll be able to do it. The difficult part on the releasing it is that it would have to go through all the design phases, development phases. We cannot just, you know, sort of like put a sticker on the top of our website of the Player Protection Index.
Like, are you gonna create like your own casino lists, you know, with casinos that have the best, from best to worst Player Protection Index? Or is this new project will somehow be integrated into the list we already have, like next to the safety index, I imagine? Or is it going to be in some sort of badge like we have with fair and safe casinos on our website? Or do you not know?
Yeah, those are the questions we do not yet have answers, but they are good ones. We need to think about it, and we do think about those. What we know for sure now is that we would like to have a specialist. So the casinos would be sorted based on this kind of rating.
Okay.
We do not want to, or the idea is that we do not want to connect it with the safety index. Like currently, we do not see many reasons why it should influence the safety index. Like I was saying at the beginning, we would need to create a structure in which it would sit next to each other as something which is understood to be, different.
Yeah.
But we not yet know exactly how. We would have to have a broader discussion within the company about this, because so far we've been developing this with a smaller group of people which are dealing with RG data and compliance as well.
Yeah.
The reason why we see that it would require a distinguished kind of list is that responsible gambling, safer gambling, whatever, it's not among the top priorities of the players. And we, to some extent, we need to fulfill the demand of our visitors. We need to match it. Otherwise, people are just going to leave. So we need to be careful of how we are going to design it, structure it, so we would achieve the goal of influencing the players in a way that this is an important part of your gambling.
Inviting them, not...
Exactly. And
tough job. That's not an easy thing to do. Yeah, if it would be we wouldn't have the discussion about why responsible gambling isn't a priority for players. So, good luck with that.
Thank you.
But we've been talking about this player protection index, and I still don't exactly know what is it. How is it defined? What kind of data did you have to gather, and how is the process going to be from gathering all the data to having this final ratings?
Right.
Yeah. So walk me through it.
Okay. So basically, it consists from what the operator offers for the players to protect themselves or to protect them. Because when you think about it, there are a lot of different things which players can use to make their gambling healthier, less risky.
Yes.
You have different kind of limits, you have different kind of reality checks, like things that are going to tell you how much you've been gambling, perhaps where does your gambling stand in comparison with other gamblers. It's going to give you an idea.
All of these are responsible, we know it as responsible gambling tools, right?
Exactly. And it could be a variety of things. I mean, as a matter of fact, there are all kinds of tools at the operators. There are those which would have different names, but the same function.
Yeah.
So you can have a deposit limit, which could have 5 different names. So it's a lot of work into putting all this together. That's one part. That would be the major part.
Yeah, to gather all the information.
Yes. The second part would be, what is an operator obliged to do? And that would fall mainly to the duty of care. And we want to have this available for the players, so they would know, okay, this casino has a license and they are required to be monitoring your gambling and have an interaction with you and do what is within their capabilities to decrease the harm from happening. It's a bit tricky in this. I don't want to get much into the detail because, even the law in many jurisdictions is not completely clear about this. What is the threshold? At what stage do we need to act? Is it intervention? Is it interaction? So it's a bit tricky. We want to have this information because that is part of the informational side of it. So players have the information so they could embrace it. They can do an informed choice. But we want to put it straight. We want to put it in reality. Like this does not mean that they will not allow you to spend more, or they will be responsible for when you will be overspending. No. It's there. It's something that could serve as a safety net, but it's not an assurance.
Yeah.
The second thing, which is more practical, is the nationwide self-exclusion. So they would know that, gambling in a UK licensed operators, I will be able to self-exclude on a national level from every licensed casino which is out there. And the same would apply for other jurisdiction which has it, which gives an extra edge, right? I mean, you never know when it might go south with you. So safer option would be to gambling with operators which you can just self-exclude with all of them just for one click.
Yeah, just thinking of it beforehand, before something bad happens. Okay, so summarize that for me. Because I got lost somewhere in the middle. So
we are looking mainly to what each operator has to offer in a matter of summarizing responsible gambling tools, things that you can use in order to manage your gambling in a way that it's not that risky for you.
Yeah.
Second thing, what the regulator requires as part of having a license.
Do you measure the quality of offers they offer?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We are not able to measure the quality.
Yeah, because it's difference between we have this tool available, but it does not mean that it could work. Or it works for players, or that is easy to use, available to all, so you're not putting it on a quality.
Exactly. So we are not able to assess the quality of implementation.
Yeah.
The main reason is that in that scale that we do our updates, our assessment, we are unable to go that deep. And the other thing is that it could become quite subjective.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like then people would be answering the questions like, is this the right setup? Is this the way how it would work for me as for the player? So that's why the updates basically falls to they either have it or they don't have it. And this is what we can collect. We do different ways how these updates are created, but we cannot assess the quality.
I guess that's really smart move because or at least optimal move for us, because I feel like Casino Guru is very informative. And this player protection index feels very similar to safety index or Casino Guru objects to be, objective, data-based, very informative, not pushing what we think is good or bad onto players. We let them decide. We just gather, gather and analyze the information, the database and all of the data that goes to safety index and now maybe player protection index. So it feels right. I understand the reasons why it's not so much about quality, just either you have it or you don't.
It would be ideal if you have it, if we have it, but we are not able to do it.
Yeah.
And we didn't want this to be the barrier which would stand between us and basically the thing of doing it. So, and the similar thing was with the Global Self-Exclusion Initiative. Like, okay, when we started to go serious, hell of a job, right? But then we got into it, we explored areas. Unfortunately, we ended up in a situation where we do not really see that happening in a foreseeable future. But at least we've been through. Yeah. And this is the same thing. I mean, it's not as difficult as the global self-exclusion, right? But I guess no, it's not. It's not. It's a difficult part. But I guess the thing is like, this is what it is. Let's make the best out of it. And it's still better than doing nothing. And it's still better than providing nothing, because the influential potential of this is huge.
It is.
I mean, it doesn't mean that it's going to work out, immediately. It doesn't mean that it's going to work out, I don't know, in a few months' time, whatever.
But the impact, like overall impact on the industry from
we need to try
longer perspective.
We need to try it. And as a matter of fact, we've figure out a way how we could add the quality part into it, and it's part of the motivational, how to put it, like I was saying at the beginning, we want to encourage operators to increase it. So it's part of this area. So since we cannot assess the quality, what we are going to do, that even if you have like every part of our assessment, let's say 100% of our assessment of looking into whether you have a certain tools or not, you will not get 100% rating. You will get a certain threshold, let's say 80%, whatever.
Okay.
We didn't figure out it yet. And those extra 20%, and it's just an example because it could work in a different category of these tools separately, but just to simplify it. So in order to get above those 80%, you need to show us that you have we call it an above standard implementation. So everything we collect, we basically call it, this is a standard, even though it might not be, right? But just to make sense of it.
Just to have the baseline, right?
Yeah. So this is a standard. And if you're going to show us that you have it in a way which is, again, above standard, then you can get a higher rating. I will give you an example, which is very simple, and I use it all the time. So casino can offer limits, right? But there is a big difference if the limits are accessible from your account environment, in account setting, in a nice designed way that you can set up a limit for deposit, you can set up a limit for a time.
Very easy, user-friendly.
Exactly. And on the other hand, what many casinos have, they say they have limits, but the only way how you can set up a limit is that when you approach customer support, you need to ask, do you have limits? Or, okay, you might know that they have limits, whatever. But you would need to tell them.
It's a difference between, you know, asking someone, going the extra length rather than setting it up for yourself in your account.
Exactly.
And a lot of casinos also don't have like live chats or whatever. So you have to go through writing an email, waiting for the response, you know. So I understand the difference. So basically you would again be in a conversation with these operators, and if they proved that these responsible gambling tools or whatever they offer are of quality, that would increase their player protection index. Is that correct?
Yeah. Indeed. Yes.
Okay.
So I mean, like, once we release it.
But I guess it's not going to be part of this pilot version of Player Protection Index. It's in the future.
You know, I would love to have it as a part of it. I'm kind of arguing a lot with our work group because I would like to try that out during that pilot with that group of operators that we would release it with.
Yeah.
So hopefully we will have it there in a simplified version. So what we did already, we have identified the areas where we see, I mean, from our experience, from complaints, you know, collecting data, we have identified the areas where we see could be big differences. So this is what we can start with. And I mean, our expectation is that it's going to broaden, perhaps it's going to shrink at some point, but we want to try out all this kind of communication, this process. Like, you know, the casino is asking, okay, I think we should get more. Okay, this is what you need to show us. Okay, here is the proof. Okay, approved or not approved. Yeah. Because that process can have a lot of flaws as well. And we want to simplify it as much as possible. We want to make it objective.
Sure, but before that you have to test it out.
Yeah, we need to work with that.
Understand. Sounds like hell of a job, to be honest. Yeah, but I guess the hard part is you're done with the hard part. I mean, the gathering the information, right? And a lot of effort, manpower had to go there, or maybe not. Maybe it's you worked with data that Casino Guru already had, already gathered.
We have that kind of a data in a simplified manner. So like I was saying, you can have a different kind of tools with, you can have tools with different names, but with the same function.
Sure.
So now with a new kind of method of how we collect it, with the new system, it's gonna branch out. Sure. Right? So in the past, it could have been just there isn't a deposit limit. Now it's gonna be that limit, and that limit. What took us the most of the time so far was looking for the right way how we could categorize the data, collect the data, and set up a process of collecting it and not scoring it, but
rating it. Yeah,
that's the second part as well. I mean, third part, fourth part, whatever. But we wanted to have this as part of the update process, which is already here for casino. So as part of the regular casino update or data gathering process. And we've been also considering the, what tools should provide what should be the weight of different tools. So basically how the final rating should be calculated.
And what's the answer to that?
That we have kind of found out internally. So I can say that we've had an agreement.
Can you say what's the most important part that carries the most weight?
It's quite evenly distributed, but I can tell you a few things which are like a standalone tools or standalone features, most influential. So it would be self-exclusion in account in combination of a self-exclusion either through email or through chat. So like giving a person an option, but still having that option which can, execute self-exclusion immediately.
Sure.
And the second quite significant part is panic button. Because we see that it is very helpful in the times where players are in distress, because those are the times where they basically cannot control themselves. And if they can pull the safety brake, it's something that can do a lot, even though it's just for like 48 hours or so.
I understand that. Okay. I would also like to a bit more, because we carried the conversation basically this player protection index and how we can work with operators to improve. But players are also very, very important. So when something like this, like player protection index, will be launched, how are you going to communicate with players that, this is it. This is how we define it. This can help you in this, and that way. Do you have any marketing prepared for when player protection index is going to be launched, or?
Not yet. Also, the question is whether we want to make a big fuss about it during the pilot.
You don't?
I mean, depends on what stage we are at. So I'm still considering launching the pilot stage. Are we going to make a big thing out of it? Not sure, right? I mean...
if you want to have feedback and, as we said, test it out before tweaking it in a way, I think, it's important to inform players, this is here, we would love your feedback on it.
What we can still do is that we can wait a couple of weeks after the release. Is there any organic reaction to it? I mean, how big is it? Do we have the capability to sustain a higher amount of feedback if we will do some sort of awareness about that? And that would fall for the operators and for the players as well, and within our means. So I don't see many reasons why we shouldn't notify our subscribers that this is out there. Whereas we can do some sort of extra widget on our website, so it wouldn't be just in a way that they would notice when they would be going through the casinos. And another thing why we want to make players aware of it, at a certain stage, is that we want this rating to be influenced by complaints as well. So we have a lot of complaints on self-exclusion. We have some complaints on other responsible gambling tools as well. Currently, we see the biggest influential, or the highest influential part could be the self-exclusion, because, complaints, they are our controlling mechanism. So we collect some data, we collect or we read some terms and conditions, and they might be in a gray zone, like this sounds weird,
Yeah.
but perhaps if casino will not use it, there are not many reasons why to punish them for. And the complaint is a mechanism to find out. So if someone is going to use it in order to...
We're going to know.
Exactly. And for self-exclusion, it can show us if some self-exclusion implementations are not functional.
Are not working for players, yeah.
And if we will make players aware of that, they would serve as testers for us, because it happens. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, as I said, bringing the players closer to the industry, and now you work with us.
Yeah. So it's like, I would even call it a smart way,
Okay, just natural how we work,
Yeah. Smart way how to make these mechanisms so it will not be on our shoulders, all of it. So from one side, you will have operators to be providing sort of like proofs. Okay, we have it better, we deserve a high rating. And on the other side, there are the players who are safeguarding it. No, I've been there. It's not working.
Watchdogs, yeah.
So... And this makes me really excited about it.
I can see it.
It's like, I really love this part about it.
Yeah. We've been talking about player protection index. You will all sad because there are so many problems and things that are not yet worked out, and this is the part that gets you excited. It's great to see. Yeah,
this is the thing that I'm looking forward to.
Exactly, the players part. At the end of the day, it's all about the players. So, yeah. I'm thinking what I wanted to ask next. Yeah. I think we talked at length about the similarities between player protection index and safety index. What are some differences, though?
Many, right? I mean, I would say the
object. Yeah, one is talking about safety and fairness, and the other about player protection. But these two things are not entirely different from each other. Aren't there, like, one is a part of the other? Like, wouldn't you in player protection index also consider the safety index of each casino?
So currently what complaints influences, even the responsible gambling safer self-exclusion complaints, they influence safety index. So when there is a failed self-exclusion complaint, it will influence safety index. Now it should influence also the player protection index, or whatever we call it. The biggest similarity is in the function. So how it should serve players and how it should influence the operators. What is a bit tricky semantically is safety index, and you have safer gambling. So we definitely cannot call it safer gambling.
Okay.
We've had discussions in the past when we were considering safety index. Like I was, it might be a bit confusing because of the safer gambling things. I think that it doesn't prove that way, but we need to be vigilant about this when we are setting this up. So to answer a more simple manner, we do not see these two influencing each other at the moment. Perhaps it will change in the future. But what we need to consider is how they stand next to each other.
Sure.
And how it shapes the overall impression, or how it shapes the overall
experience of players.
Yeah, right. I mean, the overall impression of such a casino, because they could be different, because you are measuring different things. So, I mean, I would imagine that they would correlate quite well. They should, right?
Okay, but couldn't it happen like you have this casino that's on top of our list. It has great high safety index, and suddenly you realize that the player protection index is mediocre at best. Could something like that happen?
It could be, yeah. It could be. And that's, that's the thing which could be very influential for the casino to increase their player protection capabilities, their player protection, let's say, infrastructure, basically what they offer. Like, because, when they have a high safety index with us, they are surely happy about it. And if we will add something to it, which is going to show like in other area, you are not doing that well, like that the idea is that they would go ahead for it. And, it would be brutal. It would be, if it would work like that, and if they would go after it, trying to improve it, I would be the most satisfied.
Yeah, I guess that's value of it all, or the thing we want to achieve, just to make everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say happier in this way, but just more again responsible, safer. Just the environment of gambling that we know carries a lot of risks, to be just a little bit more easygoing for everybody.
Yeah. And I think that even though it has some, what I'm trying to say is that even though the fact that we are not be assessing the quality it lacks it. So I mean, it would give you a full picture of it, but the baseline is there. There is a conversation which is quite relevant. Like, if you push too much on responsible gambling with players, it might turn them off.
Yeah.
You need to find the right balance. You need to find the right way how to approach it.
Or give it time.
Indeed, you need to do things that they will see it as a natural and normal part of gambling.
Yeah, that would make sense to them.
And because we will be assessing whether they have it or not with the baseline rating, and not, how much they are basically promoting it, how much they are, someone would say like pushing it to customers,
bringing attention to it.
Yeah. Then we would not be in a position like, you need to push responsible gambling with every players all the time.
I understand. Yeah.
Just have it. Offer to them. If they want it, they would use it, and just in case.
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to say, that we are not this, like, we don't have this moral high ground, and when you're working with both operators and players, you need to be some like moderate in many ways, and try to bring together all of these parties and to hold it together, because if you push too hard,
exactly,
each one of them will just go away.
It's one of the things which were very it has resonated with me a lot, and Maciej was speaking about it when he was here, that we do not want to be in a position that preaches everyone. I mean, we have our standards, we have our way of looking at things, which I would say it's coming from a lot of expertise and a lot of experience, but we are not saying that this is the only way how you should do it.
Yeah.
But if you want to have a higher rating, this is what you need to do.
Casino Guru,
and
you
then
need
it's up
to
to
do.
you.
Yeah, that's the leverage we were talking about. Okay, I guess my very last question, because time is almost up. So this is very interesting tool to be, let's call it that. It gathers a lot of very important information. What is its data value for further research?
I like to think that it's big. There is nothing like that out there. And I think
that's important, that it's completely unique, by the way.
Because then you can provide at least an analysis. Like, you can say that what is the percentages of operators that offer deposit limits? How frequent these
on a different
tools
market,
are. Different markets. Yes. You can diversify it. You can even diversify it for the kind of players. Because we have information in our database. What are the countries that different casinos accept players from? So you could have an offshore operators which are accepting players from different countries. Then you can say, for example, for the country where, let's say, I don't know, some African country, which would not have a regulation, and which the operation from offshore operators would be in a way that many operators are doing business over there.
Yeah.
So you would not then classify it based on a license, but you would classify it based on an offer. So let's say for this country, for players from this country, this is what they are able to get, and it's super unique.
Yeah, suddenly you have these information on topics that were very hard to gather before.
Yeah.
And if something like player protection index would work, and it would, snowball into something even bigger in the future, that could have great value for research, definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, we are always open for providing our data for the research, so it could be helpful. What could lack in this again is the quality part, but that's something that I see could improve over time as well, because if there will be enough reasons for us to do it, that perhaps we will assess the quality at one point, then we would do it. I mean, currently it's a big hurdle. We would have to hire a lot more people, and we would have a very different kind of like learning or training for them in order to do it.
Yeah, that part is also very subjective. So you would need to have some sort of checkpoints, definitely. And that would make it just, for the future, hopefully. Yeah.
There are ways how to work with it. And the research is definitely one of the things that we want to enrich with it. I'm not sure if that was good grammatically,
but I understand.
You get what I say.
I do. We can edit this in the subtitles later. Don't worry about it. Okay, Šimon. This was great. I could sit here with you and talk about this for 2 more hours, but our time is almost up. But before we end this, is there anything else you would like to add to these player protection index? You would like to our viewers that you need this to be heard by them, something that we haven't mentioned.
Yeah. That's a good question, but I don't really know how to answer, because we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
We've been through a lot, and the fact is that I could be talking about it for hours. Because,
I know.
It has been in my head for the past.
It's a very exciting
6
project.
or 8 months, and it was a struggling work for some time, because you are trying to find the right way how to do it, to fill it in a right way into the processes, structure that we have, but on the other side to still keep the essence of it, to stick with the goals, to make sure that it will be having the impact that you envisioned for that.
Yeah, I understand. Shooting for the stars, but also you have to remain realistic. Yeah.
So I guess the last questions would be like, have patience with us. Like, if we will not be releasing it by the end of the year, and at the end of the year, we've had good reasons to do it, and we will not give up with this. So, I mean, in some way, we will do this, and I will do my best, and I can speak for the whole Casino Guru that we will enable for this to be as good as possible and to have its impact in the industry.
Thank you, Šimon. That's great. I really need, I have to applaud you. Let's not go there. But yeah, thank you very much for chatting with me today. We definitely learned a lot, and I'm very happy that for the very first time you talked about Player Protection Index. It was here at Casino Guru News. So yeah, thank you very much again, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Thank you. I think I was able to release some steam after all those months. So yeah, it has been great. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. And thank all of you who've been watching us. Hope you liked this interview with Šimon, and I will see you in the next interview. Bye.